Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast, brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVRealtor.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday. Oh, my goodness, I'm so glad to be back at work. It's a long weekend. Had Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, all of that time off. And it's not that I really didn't want to be at work, or it's not that I didn't want to be home, but I'm just glad to be away from the food. I mean, I think I gained 8 pounds over the weekend. So you're such a darn good cook, though. Hey, coming up later in the program, for those of you who missed this on Christmas Day, we had a guest talking about a really cool thing. Rent Like a Champion is the name of the company. I'm going to re-air that interview because he was just gracious enough to be my guest on Christmas, but I thought, there's a lot of people that probably aren't even listening today. So if you heard him on Christmas, you're going to hear him again. But for those of you that missed it on Christmas, don't worry, you're going to catch him today. Hey, how to sound smart when you're feeling dumb. It can be scary to ask for help. You don't want to bother people, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to seem incompetent, but research from Harvard Business School found something reassuring. When you ask for advice, the people you're asking tend to find you more competent, not less competent.
Really?
Yeah. They think you're more of an idiot when they watch you do something the wrong way. They're like, that's not how that works.
Yeah.
But if you come over and say, hey, I've never done this before. How does this work? That's going to actually make you seem more competent. So,
well, there you go.
I have a question. Heidi, how do I stop this break? How do I get done?
We just end.
Okay, like this?
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Get razors for $1 a month plus a few bucks shipping, so you can enjoy fresh razors every month for as little as $3. Learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
Thought you'd never ask. It's Monday, December the 28th. Today is Holy Innocents Day, Endangered Species Act Day, National Chocolate Day. Isn't that like 5 times a year?
I think we have National Chocolate Day a lot.
It's just whenever I feel like chocolate, I throw that one in. It's also Pledge of Allegiance Day, Return a Gift for Cold Hard Cash Day, Take a Drive and Enjoy the Christmas Lights Before They're Gone Day, Throw Away Your Subliminal Motivational Tapes Day, and finally, Chewing Gum Day. And I got some fun chewing gum facts. You know who invented or who patented chewing gum?
I have no idea.
William
Mr. Wrigley.
Semple. No, William Semple, 1869. A study shows a simple stick of gum can often fight heartburn just as much as medication. I didn't know
Really?
that. And I get that once in a while, so I'm going to start using it. It's because after you have a meal, you can start getting GERD, which is gastroesophageal reflux disease. So they say just chewing gum actually fixes that. So
Really?
I'm going to try that.
That's interesting.
There you go. Some fun stuff on this Chewing Gum Day. It's the 28th of December.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you want to buy or sell an RV, go to RVRealtor.com. List your RV for free. Learn more at RVRealtor.com.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. If your car is stolen and you see it on the street one day, what do? You call the police, right?
Yes.
Well, one woman wishes she never would have called the police. It says if you steal a car back from people who stole it from you in the first place, is that considered stealing? Be the judge of this stupid story. A woman recently stumbled across her stolen car on the street, still had her belongings in it and her tax documents, and she had the steering wheel lock changed. So she had a steering wheel lock on it. Somebody put a different one on there. She figured, hey, this is a good opportunity to catch a policeman, and I'm going to get my car back. She was stunned when she found out. You ain't going to believe this, but they told her they're too busy. Maybe you should just steal the car back. That's what the police told her. We can't stop right now. We're busy. Just take it back. The police were telling her to steal her car back.
Well, it's hers. She's not stealing anything if it belongs to her.
Yeah. In the end, she had no other choice but to steal her car back. After she did steal it, the police took the plates for fingerprinting. The plates had been changed as well. They said they couldn't stake out the car because they didn't have the resources. So I'm not exactly sure what they were doing. But I understand if they had more important cases like, hey, we got somebody that's been murdered, that's probably a little more important than a stolen car. But isn't that just weird when they, hey, I'm here, I'm with the car, and they'd say, hey, just take it. Just take it.
It's
Take
hers.
it home. It's yours.
Yeah.
Anyway, they said we would also be in danger of having to start a pursuit, which we always try to avoid. Apparently, among other things, they like to avoid things like, high-speed pursuits and, going over to arrest a car thief. So,
Well,
I think it's kind of funny. Yeah, we really don't have time. Can you just take the car back? I wonder if she had a spare key or how she did that. If they had a different steering wheel lock on it.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Maybe she's good at stealing cars, too. Coming up, we've got an interesting Brain on Drugs today. And there's a lot of fun stories this week after Christmas, so we're going to get to as many of those as we can. We appreciate you joining us for the John and Heidi Show on a Monday.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your Brain on Drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again?
844-204-1055.
And this is your Brain on Drugs. Some criminals use disguises, others just shave and hope nobody will notice. Police in Somerset County, Pennsylvania, stopped a 50-year-old Robert Sadden for broken taillight. Before they could talk to him or identify him, he fled the scene on foot. He ran straight home and shaved his mustache and changed his clothes. Then he called in and reported that his truck had been stolen. The same officer that had stopped him in the truck went over to his home to investigate this theft. When he got there, he noticed, hey, you're the guy that was driving the truck. The not-so-clever disguise didn't fool anybody. He was arrested for drunken driving and escape and related charges. So for fleeing the scene, he got in trouble. Don't do that. So he was drunk. That's why he didn't want to stick around.
Wow.
He's like, I'm going to just run home. I can shave and I can change my clothes. They'll never know it was me. Yeah, that didn't work out so hot. Coming up, we've got your moment of duh, and it's all about the movies. It's on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Keystone Treatment Center. Addiction is no laughing matter. Call Keystone Treatment Center toll-free at 1-844-204-1055.
Christmas is a big day for so many things, but the movies, for whatever reason, every year people flock to the movies on Christmas Day. It's a big deal now. And the St. Louis area, close to 200 teenagers went wild at the St. Clair movie theater. Apparently, it all started between two girls who were fighting over the same boy. By the time it was done, 200 people had joined in the brawl before the police finally broke it up. Yeah. And we just talked about, like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, a thing called movie rage. Remember that? Movie rage is where somebody's in the theater and they're bugging you, and there have been people going to the hospital over this. The survey, I pulled this out here, had people that were assaulted for these things, for talking. Somebody assaulted them for talking. They were eating their popcorn too loud.
Yeah.
Repeatedly slurping on their straw, answering their cell phone, rattling your plastic candy bag, tipping the Raisinets or snow caps too much, making noise, blurting out the end of the movie, and kicking the back of the person in front of you. Now, of all of those things, the only ones that make any sense to me would be somebody blurting out the end of the movie. I still wouldn't assault you, but I might do one of these. I just shot a dirty look at Heidi, for those of you that are not watching on the radio. Or if you're kicking me, that would be a thing where I would say, can
that would drive
me,
you
please?
crazy.
But if you're just maybe even answering a cell phone, I might say, hey, can you take that outside? But for all of those other things, if they're just, crunching popcorn or, eating Raisinets, why would you even care? But
I don't know, some people.
Yeah, getting assaulted over those things. Coming up, we've got your scoop of the day. That is on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now, your scoop of the day. Residents in the Siberian town of Barnell are backing an 18-month cat to become their new mayor.
I saw this online.
Unofficial poll finds that the Barskin, I believe is the cat's name, or Barsic, will win 91% of the votes against his 6 human rivals. That's their unofficial poll. So when reached for comment, Barsic said, meow. That's a cat. Researchers in the Netherlands have revealed why Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer's nose is red. Should have read this last week, shouldn't I? Where they're saying it's a distinctive thing in the region that he lived in as a child.
Oh, good Lord.
Certain areas, and it's a oxygen-rich blood in their nose.
Yeah, I suppose.
I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think it has everything to do with the fact that they, made up that little story, and that's kind of fun. But yeah, okay, Scandinavians. I guess it's because they have red-nosed reindeer in a certain region of Scandinavia. Should you believe all those text messages you're sent from friends? Turns out there's a lot of them that are not completely honest. A good chance, about 11% of the text messages you get are deceptive. According to research from the Cornell University, who apparently has done everything they could to solve all the real problems, they did a study about this. They examined 5,400 texts, and they found 10.7 of them used to tell people they were places they were not, or telling people, hey, I've got to go, when they really just wanted to quit talking to you. Sorry, pizza's here, got to go, whatever. They came up with an excuse, but 11% of the time, your friends are lying to you. So
I've done that.
You've done that to me.
I've done that to you.
I know you have.
Yeah.
We're on the phone. I can see you. You're like, well, I got to go. I'm really busy. I'm like, I can see you. What are you talking about? I'm pulling in the driveway now. You're not busy. You just don't want to talk. Hey, a study discovered that up to 35% of us had a text conversation while we were sleeping as well. The conversation, which is mostly gibberish, starts when our phone beeps or buzzes because somebody sends you a text message and you answer it. It's not always gibberish, though. The study found men usually text about food, while women tend to text about what, Heidi?
I don't know.
Romance. Hubba hubba. So there you go. If you ever get a text from a woman late at night that's about romance, she was probably sleeping. You ever get a text from a guy in the middle of the night that's about food? He was probably hungry. Hey, a new study shows that only 10% of jobs created since 2009 are full-time. Only 10%.
Yeah, well, I know.
Talking about all the new jobs created, 10% of them are full-time. The rest are not. A Newcastle University professor said it's unnecessary for kids to learn spelling and grammar because smartphones will handle it for them.
Oh, good Lord.
This is from a university professor.
Oh, my gosh.
He said, hey, they ain't got to learn nothing new because we got all that stuff right here on our newfangled smartphones.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
We don't need to know nothing.
That is awful.
So I can tell you, my phone corrects my spelling all the time. I clearly don't know how to spell.
And you supposedly did learn it.
And I clearly don't know how to speak, although I should. Hey, dentists could soon be hanging up their drills. A new peptide embedded in a soft gel or a thin flexible film placed next to a cavity encourages cells inside to regenerate in about a month. According to a study from the Journal of ACS Nano, whatever that is, the technology is the first of its kind and could remove the need for drills. So this is a thing that you'd put in next to the cavity. It would go in and fix the cavity rather than drilling it out.
Okay.
How awesome is that?
That's pretty cool.
I mean, I kind of want to get one of those. I don't have any cavities, thank goodness. But if I ever had one, that's the way I'd want to go, right there. I think it sounds cool. Hey, two panhandlers at a busy intersection in Muscatine, Iowa. They got a little panhandle and turned back on them. Listen to this. There was a sign saying, "We're broke and hungry." This is from a week ago. You saw it online.
I shared this
A
with
nearby
you, yeah.
business owner offered them a job. He stopped and said, hey, guys, man, nobody should be hungry this time of year. Come work with me. I'll pay for you. You can have some food. You can have stuff for Christmas. We'll take good care of you. They didn't want the job. So the guy was very disappointed because he's like, wait a minute, I offered you and you said no. So he wrote a sign of his own that said, offered these guys a job. They said no, don't give them money. And he stood next to them.
I think it's fantastic. That's exactly what needs to be done.
It's kind of funny. It's not illegal for him to do that, I guess.
No,
so
absolutely not. And he tried to help them. They did not want to help themselves, and that's the problem.
That's kind of funny. Hey, our strange law. In New York, a fine of $25 can be levied for flirting. This old law specifically prohibited men from turning around on any city street and looking at a woman in wink that way, as they said. A second conviction for this crime would be a higher fine, but $25 for a first offense. So if you look back and say, hey, baby, $25 fine. Strange law. Well, this has been your Scoop of the Day.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RoughToughKennels.com. Dog kennels and accessories sent to your front door wherever you live. Your dog deserves it. Learn more at RoughToughKennels.com.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on Christmas Day. And I've got a guest on the line that this has got to almost be like a Christmas present that he got. For those of you who watch the program Shark Tank, I love the show. People tune in and watch the show, and I'm always rooting for people to get a deal. Well, we've got Mike Doyle joining us right now. Mike has a company called Rent Like a Champion. And Mike, you got a nice little Christmas gift early, didn't you?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We were fortunate enough to not only go on the show, but get two great partners out of the deal. So it's been definitely a great fall for sure.
Now, the partners that you got were who once again?
So we got an investment from Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, and then Chris Sacca. He was a guest shark on the episode when we aired, so he's not always on the show, but he's a big-time Silicon Valley venture capitalist. So, having Mark kind of covering the sports world and then Chris with the technology world, it really couldn't have worked out any better for us.
And the thing that's cool, we got another little Christmas gift for everybody here. If you're listening right now on, you're going, I didn't really get a chance to see that. Good news, it's going to be on again this weekend, isn't it?
That's right, yes. Sunday the 27th, we are re-airing on ABC. And it's kind of funny, our team, we originally aired on October 30th, and it's just been kind of a whirlwind since we aired in terms of, emails and phone calls and all sorts of things coming in. So the dust had finally started to settle, and then we got a call about a week ago from the producers saying they were going to re-air us. So we kind of had to gear everything back up again and get ready to go. But we're extremely excited, just to get that kind of exposure once again.
Well, we're going to make sure we let folks, we're going to remind them before we're done that they can tune in again. But right now, let's talk about your company, because that's really the main thing here. Rent Like a Champion. This is such a neat idea. Now, how long have you guys been doing this?
We've been doing this in South Bend, Indiana, actually since 2006. So we've had a bit of a track record there. It was really only the past 3 years that we started expanding the company nationally and trying to taking it to other college towns around the nation.
And let's explain to people, if they haven't seen this episode, I apologize, I get ahead of myself because I watched you on the program. You guys did a great job. I understand what it is. Let's explain what this is. What is Rent Like a Champion? What do you guys even do?
Absolutely. So we are an online vacation rental platform that caters to college football fans. So, let's say that you're a Notre Dame football fan. On average, there's about 80,000 people who are descending on South Bend during football game weekends, and there's hotel rooms in South Bend for about a quarter of those people. So there's obviously this huge gap in supply and demand. What we do is we get people who live near campus, so it's professors, graduate students, other people who work at the university, to list their home on our website, and then we turn around and we market those homes to fans who are coming in for game weekend. So again, you're going to Notre Dame, you want to see a game there, you can rent a home across the street from campus. You get to skip the hassle of game day traffic. You don't have to worry about parking. You can walk over to the game right before kickoff. Really just makes for an overall better weekend experience, especially if you're going to the game with friends and family. The alternative is splitting the group up into 3 or 4 hotel rooms. We give you the option to all stay together under one roof and, oftentimes be just a hop, skip, and a jump away from campus.
Well, I think it's a really neat idea, and kudos to you guys for coming up with this concept. And like you were saying, you've been doing it since 2006, so clearly there's a market or you wouldn't have lasted this long. And congratulations on getting the partners that you got when you went on the program Shark Tank. That's really cool. What kind of things are you looking forward to? We've got a new year starting here in about a week. What kind of things are you guys looking forward to in 2016?
Yeah, it's definitely an exciting time, and it's one of those things where we're trying to prioritize what we want to go after first. For us, first and foremost, college towns and college football has really gotten us to this point, so we want to stay true to that. We're active right now in about 23 college towns around the country, and there's another 20 or so towns where we think this model makes a ton of sense, where there's big-time football programs in smaller towns that we haven't even touched yet. So that's kind of the low-hanging fruit, I guess, is getting into those remaining 20 towns as quickly as possible. And then in addition to that, we're starting to look into how do we expand our niche a little bit. Again, we don't want to take our eye off the ball and forget about what got us here, which is college football and college towns. But, we know that there's a lot of applications for kind of our product and our business outside of just college football. So things like, anytime there's huge events that happen in small towns, that's an opportunity for us to kind of, step in and help people enjoy the experience. So things like NASCAR races, PGA events. We've started talking to organizers of youth sports tournaments who have big groups coming in for weekend events. So we're starting to kind of explore those other opportunities as well. So definitely an exciting time for us right now.
This is a really cool concept. Again, visiting with Mike Doyle from the company Rent Like a Champion, and your website is really simple, rentlikeachampion.com. And I think it's a really cool way for people to have a great experience. And I can tell you, I've been involved in things where, you're going to a big event and you're going the same time 50,000 other people are going, and there are no hotel rooms. You got to drive a half hour, an hour, 2 hours in order to even stay anywhere nearby. So I don't think the hotels are going to dislike this because they're going, hey, we can't handle all these people anyway. So it just is a really neat niche. And when I saw the episode, I thought, what a great idea. And I shot an email over to Mike, and he replied back and said, I'd love to chat. I didn't know it was going to be on Christmas Day, but thank you again for chatting with me, because what a cool concept. And I found out while I was visiting with Mike that the program is going to be airing again this weekend. Now, what time is it going to air? It's on ABC Network, but do you know what time that'll be on?
Unfortunately, we haven't been told yet the exact time, but again, I know it's going to be on ABC on Sunday the 27th. We'd love to have people tune in and learn a little bit more about us.
Well, thank you again for taking the time to chat with me. Merry Christmas to you, and again, congratulations on all the success, and I think you guys have a pretty bright 2016 ahead of you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me. Merry Christmas to you as well, and I enjoyed it. Thanks again.
Again, Mike Doyle, the company is called Rent Like a Champion, and again, I had a chance to see them on the episode of Shark Tank. I love the show, absolutely love the show, and reached out and said, hey, I'd like to chat with people about this. I'd never heard of this before. It's such a cool concept. If you'd like to know more, I'm going to give you that website once again, and be sure to check it out on ABC this weekend if you get a chance to watch the show, but you can also go right to their website, rentlikeachampion.com. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on Christmas Day.
This portion of the program is brought to you by carsforsale.com. If you're in the market to buy a car, truck, or van, find thousands of vehicles to choose from at carsforsale.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Michael Jackson's Thriller has become the first album to be certified 30 times multi-platinum in the USA.
That's pretty cool.
Sales topping $30 million in America alone. Michael Jackson could not be reached for comment. Wait, he's still dead, right?
Yeah, he's still dead.
I thought so. Hey, a German thief was arrested after he stole an in-car navigation system, sold it on the internet auction site. The buyer turned out to be the victim, who then turned him in. So he stole...
Well, how would the buyer know for sure that one was his GPS?
He got it back. He's like, wait a minute, this is mine. So there was something distinctive on there that he was able to find out that was his.
Huh.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
All right.
An 89-year-old great-grandfather will graduate with honors with a degree in sociology from the University of Wolverhampton in England.
Oh, that's
89 years old. He's really, really struggled on that one course. He's taken it over and over and over. I don't think he's really been there that whole time. Coming up, we've got fish pedicures to talk about. That sounds kind of fishy, and it's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by StoneGroupArchitects.com. It's more than a building. It's design and function working together. Check out the project portfolio at StoneGroupArchitects.com.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday. I've got a fish pedicure to talk about here. I've never had a pedicure. Have you ever had a pedicure?
No, I don't like people messing with my feet.
I know, because I remember one time you had a sore foot, and I said, well, let me rub your feet. And you're like, I don't know.
No, thanks.
So you kind of squirmed out of it. I was like, if your foot hurts, I'll rub your foot. Come on. We're married. I can do that. I've seen your naked feet before.
I don't like people touching my feet.
So I've never had a pedicure either. It's not because I don't want people touching my feet, because nobody wants to touch my feet. So. Anyway, if you want to rid your feet of scaly, dry patches, catch yourself a fish, a carp to be precise. A salmon in Virginia is offering... No, I'm sorry. Let me try that again. A salon, not a salmon. I put the M there on my own. A salmon is offering pedicures. No. A salon in Virginia is offering fish pedicures where clients' feet are submerged in a tub containing doctor fish. The treatment replaces razors, which have been deemed unsanitary. Ew. Clients report the procedure is very ticklish. It's followed by a typical pedicure, which is reportedly easier because the skin is then softened by the fish. Is this doctor fish alive?
I don't know. It's disgusting. That sounds disgusting.
I kind of want to know more.
You would think it would make your feet stink.
No, probably not, because it's not like they're not done. That's the first treatment. And
I wouldn't want to do it.
All the oils and whatnot. So
yuck.
Making your feet smell all pretty. So there you go. If you're looking for what was it called again? A pedicure, yeah. Next time you go in there, say, hey, you got one of them fishy pedicures here? I'd like to try one of those. And then let me know how that goes. Coming up, we've got a character assassination. We're going to tell you California's teacher's attempt to come up with an assignment that related to him getting fired. So this is not good. It's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Andrew Phillips, an English teacher at Covina High School, assigned his students to devise an assassination plan and an explanation of how they would get away with it. Okay. Phillips instructed his students to write an assignment as a journal entry in conjunction with reading of the Edgar Allan Poe short story, The Pit and the Pendulum.
Okay.
He told them, choose someone that you would kill, give a reason why you would kill them, and then we needed to explain how you're going to do it. According to students, the only requirement was that the person had to be assassinated, and it could not be anybody in that high school.
Okay.
Because, he didn't want anybody in.
Yeah.
So I'm killing Mike, and he said, I'm going to do it. He said, describe 8 to 10 motives for killing another human being. Anyway,
Yikes.
he ended up getting fired over this, which, that was a bad idea, especially at this day and age. I understand what he was doing, but,
That's an assignment I would have enjoyed, but...
so, I'm afraid to even ask. Number 1 on the list, who would you kill? John? How would you do it? Strangle him with a microphone cord. All right. Coming up here, we've got some interesting things. We've got 5 ways to instantly connect with anyone you meet. That is on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by GunUp.com. If you're a gun lover, you'll be in heaven at GunUp.com. Built by experienced military veterans, shooting sports competitors, and publishing professionals. They have awesome stories and articles that are read by millions of gun enthusiasts. Check it out at GunUp.com.
Heidi, do you ever have trouble connecting with people that you meet? When you meet somebody...
certain personality types,
I typically don't. I actually worked with a guy that said you could talk to a garbage can if it would echo back. And I think he's right. I think I did one time. Pretty sure it was just echoing back. Anyway, if you want to connect with anybody you meet, here are 5 tips. These are not from me, but I'll share them. When listening to somebody, your eyes should never look away for longer than a few seconds. So when you're talking to them, make eye contact. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. 2, don't relate everything to you. So if they're talking about something, oh, yeah, well, I did that too. Oh, yeah, I did. Oh, I did.
Yeah.
And I know people who try to one-up everything.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, hey, I went skydiving. Really? You went skydiving? Well, I went skydiving, but I was flying the plane, and then I jumped out. And then the plane crashed, too. Number 3, watch for fillers. Like, yeah. Oh, cool. Gotcha. Interesting. Wow, fascinating. Don't use those. That's typically means you're not even really listening. Like, my grandmother died this weekend. Oh, wow, that's awesome. Fascinating. I'm like, that's not fascinating. Are you even listening to me? Number 4, don't pretend like you know everything. The good news is Heidi does know everything, so you don't have to pretend.
That's right. I don't have to pretend.
And number 5 on the list, if you're someone who gets nervous or freezes up during a conversation, plan questions in advance. So if you know you're going to be meeting people at a party or whatever, just start thinking of things like, so if it's a holiday party or maybe New Year's party, you're getting together, say, hey, what was your favorite New Year's Eve? What was the best thing that ever happened to you? Hey, Heidi, what was the best thing that ever happened to you on New Year's Eve?
I got engaged.
I did too.
Yeah.
It was New Year's Eve 1999. What about yours? When was yours?
New Year's Eve 1999.
I thought you looked familiar. That's when I proposed to her. But it wasn't really a proposal, was it?
Not really.
I just said, 2000. Hey, we should get married this year. That was my proposal. I didn't want her to say no. Coming up, we've got some good news on the way, and we've got, between now and then, going to talk about bowling. Is it bad for you? Interesting story.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Have you ever heard that bowling is bad for your health? I've
No.
never heard that. Well, the Health and Safety Commission of Great Britain spent, or should I say wasted, $500,000 on a
wow.
2-year study to determine that bowling alleys are, and I quote, a very dangerous environment for families. What? Where did they go? The so-called safety experts concluded that it would be too easy for children or teenagers to run down the lanes and get trapped in the machinery.
Oh, good Lord.
I've been to these places before. I've never seen that happen.
I've never seen that happen.
Interesting thing is, there has never been a reported case of this happening ever in the history of the sport. Ever. I mean, ever. John Ashbridge of the 10-Pin Bowling Proprietors Association said he watched HSE inspectors examine a bowling alley and found their attempts to detect possible dangers hilarious. He said the HSE, that's the Health and Safety Executives, they reported that bowlers would be at risk if they walked along 60-foot lanes to knock over pins by hand.
Why would they do that?
That's not how
That's
you
not the
do
sport.
it. And
if families are going bowling, if any parent would allow their child to do that, they would be immediately kicked out. The bowling alley wouldn't allow it.
Well, the commission ordered every bowling alley in England to put up a fence across the front of the lanes.
How do you do that in
so
bowl?
Nobody can run down the lanes.
That is ridiculous.
So far, they have not had to do it, but that was their suggestion. They're saying, to make this a safer sport, you really should put a fence here.
Wow.
So we're supposed to throw the ball over the fence? I'm
That
not
is
exactly sure what your plan is.
fascinating.
Should we put a doggy door in the fence that the ball goes through? What are you talking about? So these people, again, this was the Health and Safety Commission of Great Britain spent $500,000 to come up with that fabulous plan. Good thing is, Heidi, at least our country's not the only country wasting money on dumb
Exactly.
things. So there's, happiness in knowing that there's others doing it too. We do have some good news coming your way in a bit.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV. Call 1-800-259-7646. They have hundreds of channels to choose from, with many packages to fit your viewing desires. Learn more at 1-800-259-7646.
Always like to end this program with something positive. So here's our attempt to have something positive. A 11-year-old boy had his Xbox stolen. That doesn't sound very positive,
Not
does it?
at all.
So good news is, that's not the end of the story. 4 Memphis, Tennessee police officers surprised an 11-year-old boy with a new Xbox.
Aww.
His home was burglarized just a short while ago, and according to ABC News, the young boy and his mother returned home from church to discover his Xbox was stolen, all of his games, also some of his mom's stuff. 4 officers responded to the burglary. They said he didn't have a whole lot, and this system, this game system, was handed down to him from somebody else, and it meant a lot to him. So the 4 police that were involved chipped in some money together, and they decided, you know what? There's no way we're going to find his old Xbox, so let's go buy him a new one.
Oh,
so
that's
they bought a new
nice.
and they brought it over and gave it to him. The kid was so thankful.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I just think this is really good. Anytime I get an opportunity to talk about a police officer doing something good, I'm going to share that, because that happens hundreds of times every single day. It really does.
Yeah.
Now, the media, the other media, because not here, but other media, what they're going to do is they're going to find the one instance of a police officer doing some numbskull thing, and they're going to pound that into the ground. But here's something where there was 4 officers that did something kind for another human.
Yep, that's wonderful.
Didn't have to. Probably shouldn't have. If you really look at it, well, you don't have to do that. I don't know if they got in trouble for doing it, but certainly wasn't their job to do that. But they did it.
I don't know why they would have gotten in trouble.
I'm just
for
saying,
doing that.
if it sets a precedence or something. But I can tell you this: I'm proud of the guys for doing it. It's a great story, and I'm so glad that ABC actually covered that and put that out there, so I was able to share it with you. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. It's almost 2016, so we're going to start talking about New Year's stuff here later in the week. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Time now for the bonus break, only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
And your bonus break is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. If you know somebody that didn't get all the things they wanted for Christmas, hey, make it up by getting them a subscription to the Dollar Shave Club. For $3 a month, they'll get razors every single month. And that's something that you can say, hey, I'm going to just do that. I'm going to pay for it. It's covered. You're set. Or do the $6 a month, or do the $9 a month. Either way, they'll be delivered directly to their door, and you could get them for yourself, too. It's a really cool program. I use it. I absolutely love it. It's a really cool thing called the Dollar Shave Club. Check it out at dollarshaveclub.com/radio. If you have a loved one who loves football, we have some, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
You might want to watch them closely with the college bowl games and the NFL playoffs the next couple of weeks. A study has found deaths from heart attack jump a whopping 50%.
Holy cow.
Yeah, this was during the Dutch football match when Netherlands lost to France.
That would be soccer.
I know, I understand this, but they're saying during the same exact thing. It was during a sport when there was this huge rivalry, and we've got some of those coming up now during these bowl games, some big rivalries. When Netherlands lost to France, they were shut out of the European Championship, and there was a 50% increase in heart attacks. Researchers attribute the deaths to the increase in stress that the men have experienced. They internalize this. It's not like their team lost. It's like, I lost. I'm part of this team. I lost. No, you didn't. It's just a team. But there are people who have these rituals where they got to wear a certain shirt. Your aunt. We were at Christmas, and she was talking about she's a big fan of the Chiefs. And she said, well, I didn't wear my shirt, and then they won, so I quit wearing that shirt. And I was like, what? I was like, are you kidding me? I'm like, you quit wearing it on game day. She goes, no, I mean, I don't wear it anymore. I was like, wow. I don't think that you wearing that shirt had anything to do with the win, but you never know. All right, scientists at the University of Medical Center of Utrecht in Netherlands evaluated the number of deaths that occurred on that day, and they compared it to the figures recorded 5 days before and after. And they said that they have actually seen this in other years, too, where there's big rivalries and there'll be people that have strokes and they have heart attacks on those days. 5 days on either side. So leading up to it, people get all worked up about it, or afterwards, they just can't give it up. So just be really, really careful if you've got somebody in the family that's a huge sports fan. Maybe say, hey, let's turn the TV off now and talk about something nice.
I get that way on election day.
I know you do.
It's awful.
I remember after an election not too long ago.
Oh my God, it was awful.
You stayed in bed for 2 days.
I didn't shower. I was crying.
I know. And the John and Heidi show for that while was just the John show.
It was awful.
I was like, Heidi's not feeling well. People were calling in, what's wrong? Has she got the flu? I'm like, no, she just really bummed out about this election. I was like, I'm saying, hey, it's going to be okay.
It was bad.
I remember that.
It was bad.
It's going to be okay, Heidi. I'm sure there are people listening right now going, I wonder what election could that have been? If you're friends with her on Facebook, you know exactly what happened. She had a countdown for the next election from that day forward. All right, this is something we're going to do tomorrow. I want you to start thinking about this. A new high school exit exam. And this isn't for real, but it's some fun questions that I want you to start thinking about. So if you want to study, folks, study now, because I'm going to ask. And then I'll post this tomorrow as well. How long did the 100 Years' Wars last? Which country makes Panama hats? From which animal do we get catgut? In which month do Russians celebrate the October Revolution? What is a camel's hairbrush made of? Canary Islands in the Pacific are named after what animal? When was King George VI? What was King George VI's first name? What color is a purple finch? Where are Chinese gooseberries from? And what is the color of the black box in a commercial airplane? So think about these answers. And every answer that you just thought of, unless you know this, every one of them was probably wrong, believe it or not. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. And then I'm going to share that so you can trick your friends, because you can trick them and then make them buy all the drinks on New Year's Eve. See, I got a plan here. I'm trying to help you guys. Your bonus break is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. Learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.